Hi everyone, Andy here at Spymaster Gaming. Welcome back to the channel and a very warm welcome if it's your first time joining us. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Grimdark Future lore book by OnePageRules. But before I go any further, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'm still new to YouTube, although it's coming up to a year quickly, so I can't say that for much longer. So if you can do both of those things and help the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. So, on to business. Grimdark Future lore book. This is the first attempt by OnePageRules to really bring together all of the excellent work that they've done in the past few years to flesh out their Grimdark Future universe. For those of you who aren't aware of what Grimdark Future is, it started off a fair number of years ago now, very much as a way to sort of proxy Warhammer 40k figures, but now it's safe to say that they have developed their own universe. It's very much its own thing, and I've been waiting for this book for a long time to help bring new players on board. A bit of backstory about myself. So I started in the early days of second edition for OnePageRules. Came across it with a friend of mine, Ed, over at Don't Think Just Charge. I recommend you check out his channel. Really, really good content for OnePageRules. And we've both stuck with it ever since, making events locally, trying to grow the community locally as well. And we're up to a good number of local players now, which we're happy with. But one of the barriers we got in the early days of trying to onboard people was the fact that Grimdark Future didn't have its own setting in the eyes of many people. It always has done, but people had the perception that it didn't. And this book is an excellent way to tie together all of the work they've done with their STL lines for Grimdark Future, their short stories that they put out every month, and now this lore book to really present as a recruitment tool to get new people involved in the universe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some snapshots of the actual content of the book so you can see it and give my thoughts on it. And then hopefully you'll be wanting to pick it up as well. It's available from their Patreon on the 9th of April 2024. So check it out. And right, now we'll go into it and hopefully you'll like what you see. So first off, we have the front cover, a lovely bit of artwork. Something that I would comment on in general is that OnePageRules have really upped their game with their artwork in the third editions they've put out. Really, really nice and quite distinctive as well. The character there looking out into the distance is a jackal, one of their own STL lines. Really cool. I view them as space Australians. If you're Australian, please don't hate me, but it is the Mad Max aesthetic that is making me say that and nothing else. I don't think that you're all a bunch of jackals. So apologies. But really nice there to set the tone, something different, a look at a sort of an industrial world there. You've got aircraft going through. Really, really nice way to say this is a very different, unique setting. Then we've got the entry spiel. Lost in a galaxy far from our own, humanity struggles to survive amongst the stars. Earth is but a distant memory for those beneath the grim tapestry of war-torn worlds that form the new constellations of this sector. Looming over them, massive fleets of spaceborne vessels creep over the horizon, blocking out the stars as they slowly approach a jump gate. Beyond this gate lies the violence and beauty of the wider Sirius sector, a myriad of systems none left untouched by the ravages of war. Here, countless battles are constantly fought. I'm not going to read the rest because I trust that you can read it and you might be bored of my voice at this point already, so apologies there. But it's a really good little entry blurb to the universe. The classic artwork there that they've relied on for their first and second editions with a nice added pop of colour. You've got the robot legions, battle sisters, and the jackals there. Really, really cool. Really, obviously, quite a different style from what we've seen elsewhere. So the contents, you've got 64 glorious pages of this. I'm not going to go through all 64 pages, obviously, because I want you to get the book yourselves and have fun with it. But I will go over some key areas now, looking at the main things which I think are worth touching on. So we've got the welcome page. So this is an excellent onboarding bit here. This is what you'd expect as standard from most big chunky rule books, to have the bit of a blurb about what the system actually entails, so nothing too surprising there. We've got talks about the human civil war. So this is where they have the Battle Brothers as a faction and the timeline from how they've sort of taken over Earth and then move past that and cause the actual travel into the stars. So that's the first sort of part of this book, the history of humanity, as it were, or the human civil war. So you've got some really cool new artwork there as well, and the Battle Brothers there, which is the sort of first real artwork we've seen of Battle Brothers to this point, or some of the first, I should say. Really quite cool armor there. You've got the sort of nice angular armor and quite cool helmets. I think they've almost got like bug-like elements with multiple eyes, which I think is really, really cool. So that's the first part of the book. Moving on, we have a historical timeline. So timelines, obviously a great way to contextualize what's happening in a universe. So here we have the first real timeline for Grimdark Future, split over the course of about 500 years, where obviously the main events of around humanity and their departure into the Sirius sector, which is where the majority of what we've seen in Grimdark Future happens at the moment. So really good sort of brief overview of the key events which have led to this point. Then we have a nice short story, as there are a few in this book. And then we have the look at a nice color map of all of the different factions and where they stand within the Sirius sector. So really good as an overview here, and I expect that each of these sections are going to be fleshed out in the coming short stories through the monthly Patreon subscription, and there may even be full sort of stories published as well, which would be really nice to see, to really add further context to this nice visual. Then we have a section on early history, which tells us about how the Sirius sector came to be in its current state. Then there's the talk of the Radiance Cascade, which is a cataclysmic event, which basically affected most of the factions, and what they obviously how they responded to it. Then we have a nice section on the different factions of the Sirius sector. So basically all of the armies that you can play as in the Grimdark Future universe. I've just drawn attention to this page because the Orc Marauder artwork is cool as hell. An orc with spiky bits on his arms. He looks really menacing. Even the gun's got bloody spikes on it. Love it. Really nice little variation of what we know of the common green skin. So I'm all for that. I cannot wait for when those models come out. And lastly, for this review, there is a preview here of the chapter called Galactic Society, which is a really good little chapter fleshing out what it looks like to live as an everyday citizen in the Sirius sector, which I think is excellent for building context. I don't know about you, but seeing how I would be living life in a universe like this really helps put things into perspective, such as where the battles are taking place, how I would fit into it. It's a really cool little edition, I think, and you've got some characters there at the top, which I really hope that they do turn into STLs. Characters are always good to sort of flesh out factions further. You've got a Cthulhu-esque looking one on the left there, and is he a dwarf on the right with a big cannon? I don't know. But again, very cool pieces of artwork there. So overall, this book is incredible. I've only shown you some snippets there of what it contains. There are many more pages and many more short stories and chapters for you to delve into and discover the universe of Grimdark Future. I thoroughly recommend it. I've given it a good read through from start to finish, and I am really looking forward to showing it off to new potential players. I think it will be really, really good at winning people over, and it will act as an excellent foundation going forward to expand upon and really build those stories and flesh out the universe even more. If you want to check it out, make sure you subscribe to OnePageRules on Patreon. I'll put the link in the description below. The book goes live on April the 9th, 2024. So make sure you check it out and don't miss it. Thanks very much to OnePageRules for sending me an advanced copy of the law book. It has been a pleasure reading it, and I will see you on the next one. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more OnePageRules content. And yeah, thanks very much.